Welcome to Verbal Pig Radio, where we give you a verbal image of life, and we are everyday people. I'd like to welcome you all to the show. Got to give a shout out to High Frequency Performance Gear, Eating Clothing Co., Hustle House Studios, and everyone that contributed and had a hand in making the documentary Everyday People. And you might ask, well, what is Everyday People about? Everyday People is about people who have the confidence to do what they do every day without fail, to whether it's delivering a message, whether it's in their, whether you're in sports, football season is upon us, so whether you're a wide receiver and the quarterback knows that all they have to do is throw it to that spot, because you're going to be there all day, every day. You're going to find a way to beat your man, get to the open spot, catch the ball, and do your best to get in the end zone. Because you've raised to a level of confidence to where you feel that you can do that. See, people who are just getting in the game or who are learning how to become or how to be, then you're learning how to become everyday people. You're striving towards that goal. But when you have that confidence, and I'm not talking about ego, I'm saying when you have that confidence within yourself to know that you're going to give 100% every day, and you leave room for little mistakes, meaning you plan out your goals and you do your due diligence within your mathematics and your science, and you look at your plan, and you even got the degrees and the angles and how many feet and what needs to be done to accomplish the goal, and then you test it and you test it, so that way when you put it forth in the public, they know and you know that 9 times out of 10 you're going to hit your mark. You just didn't wake up one day and tell everybody, hey, get down with me, I'm going to hit the mark. And they're like, well, okay, well, show me. And you know, you trying to figure it out, and you didn't see that was there. And sometimes that is cool, because you do have people who just dive in and they figure it out as they go. That's a method too. That's a form. That's a technique. But the main purpose is getting to your goal. Now back in, oh man, what month was it? Was that April? April, man, let's see. Okay, yeah, April or May. We did the justice for Jennifer Jeffley. And let me recap this case. Jennifer Jeffley was 15 years old, who was wrongly or falsely accused of murder. Now, she spent 21 years, going on 22 years, behind bars. They took her down to the police station, and her parents was not there, grandparents, mother, no legal counsel to defend her or even explain to her rights. Now, why would you take a 15-year-old and charge them as an adult if there wasn't any racial undertones or racial hatred? Because they convicted her as if they hated her. It was like a witch hunt. It was like, you know, I'm going to burn this young lady at the stake. And she's like, I didn't have nothing to look. I didn't do it. What happened to a fair and speedy trial? The trial was everything about the case was unfair. The appeals process was unfair, because they filed appeal on her behalf and didn't even let her know what was going on, but they did that so she couldn't come back and argue the specifics of the case, because once the appeal was lost, everything that was in that appeal is thrown out. And so who would do such a thing to a young lady without due process? So, okay, now we have you, because we're leading up to a timeline. Because when Crime Watch recapped the story of Jennifer Jeffley, right? Okay. Then you, in the midst of that, let me show you how God works. Because when you cry out, that meaning you're crying out from your soul because you want something in return, or you want something done, or you want some justice, or you want to be left alone. But you're crying out for your soul when you want peace. And then you feel enough is enough. Because it reached to a level of where you feel helpless in a sense. Or you feel like your hands are tied. So you reach out and you're like, look, I'm tired of this situation right here and what's going on. So it's a certain type of energy, cry that you want to yell beyond man, because you're not getting justice with man. So you yelling out to the universe, the creator, to bring you peace and justice, right? So in the midst of the recap, because you got to remember, the actual case happened 21 years ago, right? The recap came about right in the midst of Michael Brown, Sandra Bland, Tamir Rice, Eric Gardner, Jennifer Jeffley. See, Jennifer Jeffley's name has to be included in with all of the tragedies that happened in 2017, 2016, in the midst of that conversation. Because that case is really, the energy of that case is what I say was the first, well, not the first, but it's one of many, but it's a case that the tragic nature of the case, meaning a female, 15, 8th grade, tried as a dope, no legal counsel, given 40 years to life. That's appalling. It's like, okay, now that's the formation of the hurricane, or that's the winds being whipped. Not only with that, now you're killing police brutality. They're riding right now in St. Louis, Missouri, behind an officer killing a young black male once again. And as he's goes into his vehicle, he pulls out what appears to be a weapon and plants it on the young man. But we all know that planting evidence on black men, some whites might say, come on, that's absurd. That happens all the time. That's planting crack, not even start with crack, but they plant the crack, they plant the guns, they want a conviction. Then in the warped reality is you have these vigilantes with a license, with a badge, with a gun, with a taser, with a stick, and then you would have a sheriff that's high ranking, that may be a member of one of these racist organizations, which gives the cop a green light until someone of good nature goes and investigates and finds out that we can't build a society on this type of hatred. So they'll do an investigation. But until then, it's all chaos and total havoc is being produced in the streets in every major city and flowing through every small town. So the wave of Jennifer Jeffley, the whirlwind is whipping. Black men murdered. Sandra Bland, another female, hung by police. Okay. So now the crowd goes out. It's almost like the perfect storm. Because you have the planets are lining up, and if you want to get more in depth on that, then you research and Google what's going to happen on September 23rd, 2017, which is what, a couple of days from now, 3 or 4 days from now. You want to see what is that all about? You want to understand these earthquakes in diverse places, hurricanes coming in back to back, 2 in less than 2 weeks. 2 hurricanes, Jose and Maria, with J and them, they're predicting that they could in sync run into each other. The eclipse, to where it's really stating that all of the wickedness and evil will be eclipsed by that melanin, that dark matter, because the injustice and the wrong is so rampant and it's going on so strong to where you need an intervention. And I got a question though. I got a question. This goes to poor white people. I'm sorry, but I gotta ask this question. Do you really think if there is an asteroid or a meteorite headed towards Earth, and you have Elon Musk and the crew building underground bunkers, do you think they're gonna let your poor ass in the bunker? Do you think you gonna get to a Denver and go to an underground airport that you're gonna flash some signs they gonna let you in with no money? I mean, it's absurd to see hillbillies, rednecks, trailer park trash look down on a black person with money the way they did Obama and others. And I didn't agree with everything Obama did, but I'm saying, do you think that they'll let you on the plane or whatever mechanism they have to lead them to safety? Do you think they let you on before they let Obama on? I mean, it's absurd. And I hear them. I mean, they talk like black people are the reasons why they're suffering now. Like we had a hand in it, but no. We were actually saying, and Brother Farrakhan stated it, that you had a way out. Do right by those that you wronged, and you couldn't do it. So the bird is in your lap. You couldn't even give a good apology for slavery. You couldn't even attempt reparations for slavery. You couldn't even relax and let it go, meaning the racial hatred and tone. You thought that we were so docile that we'd sit back and just be abused or be your footstool forever. Like we wasn't intelligent enough to understand what was taking place. When you gotta remember, we built the pyramids. Our ancestors built the first university when white ancestors was in caves. We brought you medicine, knowledge. We brought you astrology, astronomy, alchemy. We brought you the different degrees of knowledge and how to shape your own character. And you saying that the thanks we get is slavery, which we understand indentured servants. But damn, you don't cut heads off and chop balances off and cut babies out of pregnant women's stomach and tie folks to horses and rip them apart and just go in there and start raping the women to where you got different shades of blacks all over, and then you didn't even take care of the child that you produced. You even threw the baby out with the bath water. Stepped on baby heads with the heel of your boot and crushed the skull. And then you look at other races and you point the finger at, look at the terrorists over in Iraq and these radical Islamic terrorists, you know, how they're the scum of the earth. And people are looking at your history and like, man, what are you talking about? You did the exact same thing and continue to do it. Hell, a white Christian went in the church and started shooting up church members. Kill a pastor after he prayed with them. You know? And you hear them, oh man, and it's crazy. You hear people, they're like, oh man, it's just a tragedy what DACA and is doing, and the Hispanics coming over here illegally and taking jobs and taking things and then they're raping women along the way, and they just following your course of what history has proven that your ancestors did. You know, I'm basically saying that it's all wrong. And what I'm stating is the fact that if there is a higher being to give you a sign or to prove him or herself, is to make things happen that man has no control over. And then hope man will become, and woman, will become wise enough to where they would understand, or they catch a clue, or they'll get the hint, or they'll understand what's going on and the reason why it's happening, why it's taking place at this particular time, at this particular time span in humanity. Why are men being kicked around all over the planet by natural disasters? Water coming in just drowning people like it's nothing. Earthquake killing over 7.1 killed over 240 people, and they still looking for bodies in Mexico. 8.1 earthquake prior to that. 3.1 earthquake in Irving, Texas, near Dallas. The eclipse. The rioting in St. Louis, Missouri. The killings. It's so much that is taking place. And man is acting like, well, what's going on? What did I do? What's happening? You know, let's put it like this. Do you think that ether, that energy that dwells within, especially black people, that what's the name for it? Well, that the energy that glow, that light that illuminates from the individual can be picked up by certain devices that almost like infrared in a sense. You see it on, especially if you're using the military, warm body that gives off that illuminating glow. You don't think that energy is just confined to the body because it radiates outside of the body. You don't think that thought travels. You don't think a distress signal goes out to the universe that's saying Mayday, Mayday, you don't think that the citizens are saying, hey, we're suffering over here. We're getting kicked around. There's no aid for us. We need help. You know, we send not a smoke signal, but a spirit signal to the universe. Metal on metal, gas, gas, gas. You know, we saying, hey, we need help. Somebody's gonna come help us. We're in trouble out here. And they're like, okay, God not gonna physically like it's taught in some Christian theologies that he's gonna come riding in on a cloud and start throwing lightning bolts everywhere and damaging and destroying things. No, he just would have thought send a hurricane, wipe out so many certain places. Because you have to remember, just the eclipse can only be seen in certain points of why people travel. You got to remember, the hurricane, that Irma was supposed to hit the East Coast, wind up hitting the west side of Florida. You got to remember Harvey, just stalled and just dumped rain. Getting all the things that gave the first impression of this is where the trouble is coming from, this particular area over here, because this particular area over here has a certain mindset. Let's put it like that. When they say those who call on the name of God, actually what they saying is those who have a certain mindset is your calling card. If you think a certain way, then you are that being. You embody those thoughts within your mind, your subconscious mind, so that makes up your outer body. And so if your inner body is corrupt, your outer body is corrupt as well. Give you an example. You are what you eat. Now this goes back in the time, and this was cannibals, and these were coming up out of Europe. It felt as if you want to be a great warrior, then you eat the body of a great warrior. You inhabit that person's spirit or makeup, and now that's who you become. You are what you eat. Saying swine flesh, that's why swine, the pig, was forbidden not to be eaten, because you would have the characteristics and the attributes of a pig, and you can read that in How to Eat to Live by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You would carry on the attributes of that swine. You eat catfish, the scavenger fish, you become a scavenger. You on a diet of catfish, which is a bottom feeder, you'll be a bottom feeder. You are what you eat. So if you are salmon or a tuna fish or bass or red snapper fish that has scales, you don't want to swim in the lake or pond with the catfish. You trying to get you some fresh water. You trying to get you some healthy, clean living. You don't want to go in the murky waters with the catfish and play around. That's not your habitat. You get what I'm saying? If you a cow, if you a chicken, you a turkey, you don't want to be in a pig slot, in a pig yard. You don't want to be out mixed up with the swine. You want to graze and go get you some vegetation, some green grass and whatnot. You want to sit back and enjoy. You don't want to be with the pigs. That's just human nature. Meaning, if you got I don't care where you at, family member, non-family member, cousin, brother, uncle, sister, whatever it is, if you at peace and somebody's constantly negative and that is not at peace, after a while you got to split. That's life. It's like because you don't want to go down where they at, and they showing you they don't want to come up to peace to where you at, so you go out and you go be by yourself in your peace and enjoy life, and they can go in their misery and negativity and they can enjoy that. Have fun with it. You know, enjoy it if you choose to. But no sane person is going to allow or let someone put their kick dirt on their parade, on they block out their sunshine, because it's now you will offer help because you feel like the help is good. What's the help? My help is, look, if you want to get out, if you want to change your mindset or whatever, I know you've been in church all your life, but give Farrakhan a try. Go read some books on the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Go really study Master Muhammad, when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad stated that God came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. Go understand that and read that and understand the details and depthness of that and what that actually meant. Not from your mindset that you're standing on today. I mean, go dig in deep and figure out why that statement was made. And so, yeah, so the salmon and the red snap and whatnot, they don't want to swim in the waters with the catfish. The foods that you are allowed to eat, they don't want to hang out in the pigsty. They don't want to hang out in the pig slop. They couldn't last a day. They like, man, I gotta get the hell out of here. These pigs crazy. They do anything. You know, you drop anything in the pig, they eat it. You know, they some sick creatures. Pigs, I believe, are the only animals that sleep with other pigs as far as male and male. That's some swine stuff. That's some pig stuff. You don't want to hang out with the pigs. But you are what you eat. You eat so much of it, you start taking on its characteristics. That's the point. Moral to the story. But, yeah. So, now, we're coming to September 23rd. And some say asteroid is going to hit. Some say meteorite's going to hit. Some say it's the lining of the planets where planet Nibiru will start showing itself. You know, you start seeing two suns. However, but whatever it is, it's coming. And what's bringing it all in is the fact that man couldn't govern himself. Man was, what's a perfect word I can use for this? Man has stunted his growth because he refused to grow in the wisdom and knowledge of the Creator. He started becoming swine in human flesh. He didn't want then he dressed up in a suit and started changing up God's words and claimed to be a preacher. Then he started opening up churches on every corner and religious institution. But put it like this. If I was on another planet and I asked someone and I said, well, do y'all have any edifices or any structures that honor the presence of the Creator? Yeah, we got hundreds. You can go, matter of fact, you can go to any corner and find a church with attributes or names of or spirituality or a certain type of religion. And you like, okay, well, cool. You look on the map and you see church everywhere, all neighborhoods, every city, every whatever. So you close your eyes and you just pick a city like it did in Coming to America. And he picked it in South Queens, New York, to find a Queen. Like go to Queens, find a religious institution, just pick a map, bam, find a church. And you come from whatever planet you coming from, hit planet Earth, and you looking around like, well, where the church? You mean to tell me that the community that's around the facility and you got God's word inside the house, but outside of it is like death? And you telling me you got God's word and you preaching to the people? It's like, okay, whatever. Then there's November the 4th, 2017, which now I'm hearing some saying that they're just gonna just lose it and go crazy in each city or whatnot. Being led by Antifa, and that's what I'm hearing. And it's going, and you can Google what's going to happen on November 4th. And it's just so much going on, but we're just trying to get to the root cause of why all of this is taking place. So let me recap. It's so many to name, but I'll give you all the household commonly known names of tragedy. Tamir Rice, Eric Garner, Michael Brown, Trayvon Martin, Sandra Bland, Jennifer Jeffley, and the list goes on and on and on of people who have suffered injustice and who the justice system and the citizens of America don't want to go in and investigate and peel back that Band-Aid. Show the sword. We need to see the sword because the sword is a reminder of what could happen when you step out of that line or that path to seek justice or a better way of life, because it's a path and you climb it every day because there's new things to discover. Plus the planet is not sitting still, and the lessons as it teaches, the earth is rotating on its axis 1,037 miles per hour. So we're moving, we're not sitting still. We're in a different position than what we were 5 years ago. We constantly moving, so we constantly building. We're in new atmospheres. But you don't want to take the old mind into the new world, because you corrupting the new world and people need to concentrate and be able to think. But the greed of the elite want to keep things set because they feel as though they are afraid to lose what they gain in the old world. And you have people who's trying to build and maintain wealth in the new world. And so they clash. And then you have to say, you want to keep the narrative for some reason to justify your lies about black people. So now you got to create low frequency music with a low vibration that you go and put spells on the listeners to where they can't even think, losing their minds. It's all purposely done. And it's like, look, you getting ready to cross yourself up trying to manipulate people. And it's true, the ones that you already affected and become zombies, or the ones you infected that have became these new creatures or whatnot, their only salvation is as Honorable Elijah Muhammad stated again, that there'll be angels on every corner. That's the only help that the zombies have to bring them back into the fold of righteousness. Is people who care enough, who will risk their lives just to give the truth, because they understand the power in that truth. To say, hey, you got free will to do what you want to do, but if you sit back and know yourself, know God, know Satan, have knowledge of self, then you can make the right decision. So here go the tools to help you think out of love. Because what the enemy or the slave master or someone who didn't want to see you free, what he gave you is to keep you in mental bondage and physical bondage. But since God came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, here goes some knowledge, some truth, some mathematics that will be used as a tool to release the grip, the spell, the whatever, that take the handcuffs off, the shackles of your mind off you, so you can think and be free and focus on the future. And you can build out of a righteous mind. And so you will have the clean glass and the dirty glass sitting right next to each other. And they can tell you the purpose of the clean glass. They can tell you the purpose of the dirty glass. And they can tell you, break down the components, what this one would do to you, and the benefits this one would do for you. And then they can tell you, okay, now go choose. And some people just would choose the dirty glass. But most would choose the clean glass if it was offered to them. And so that's what that is. That's reality. So anybody who cares, they will offer you the clean glass. Even though you've been taught all your life that the dirty glass is good for you, because when you was a baby, they offered you the dirty glass, and they hid the clean away from you, so they kept feeding you, kept giving you the dirty glass. And you would notice, you probably would peek over and see somebody drinking the clean glass, and inside, you'd say, damn, something seems right about that clean glass. Inside. But if you full of ego and hate, or you're not just right with yourself, you would justify and say, there's something wrong with them drinking that clean glass. They need to be over here with me drinking this kind of water. And I've been on this kind of water all my life. Matter of fact, my parents and my grandparents drank this kind of water. Who are you to tell me that drinking this water is wrong? Because a man came, or God came in the person of a man and said, go tell your people to start drinking the clean water. Go all over the world and tell your people, drink the clean water. Don't drink the dirty water. But now you had some who made money off the dirty water, and they want to keep pushing the dirty water because they slave masters won't let them at the clean water. But the person who God came in, the person said, look, the clean water came from your forefathers. They had it first. They the one introduced it to the slave master and his people. So go get your clean water. What you waiting on permission? You waiting on them to say, okay, now it's time for you to drink clean water? But what's happening is, as it stated, it's a falling away, meaning those who keep pushing that dirty water, the people who used to drink are starting to fall away from them. And they happen to get a sip of that clean water, and they like, man, I've been deceived all my life drinking this dirty water. No wonder I got high blood pressure and ulcers and hypertension and heart disease and diabetes and everything else. Y'all had me on a diet of dirty water, purposely. And then they said, okay, well, I tell you what. If you say you're sorry and you apologize and you make some type of effort to rectify what you did, then I forgive you and I move on. We can all live together in peace and harmony, and we can walk together in the sunlight. How about that? And they refuse to apologize, refuse to show any mercy, or refuse to show any responsibility for the atrocity that was created upon the people. So Verbal Pick Radio, want you all to ponder over that. We out. Till next time.